So all this close air support's coming in this whole time. Artillery's coming in the whole time. And all of a sudden they get a situation where they see aircraft coming overhead with jets coming overhead, low pass, and they're heading towards them. And they drop some napalm. So here's Hal Moore. I yelled at the top of my lungs to Charlie Hastings, the Air Force FAC. Call that son of a bitch off. Call him off. Joe Galloway heard Hastings screaming in the radio. Pull up, pull up. Matt Dillon says, I can still see the canisters tumbling toward us. I remember thinking, turn your eyes away so you won't be blinded. I put my face into a reporter's shoulder to hide my eyes. That was Joe Galloway's. I could hear good time Charlie Hastings shouting into his radio, pull up. The second jet did. The napalm from the first hit some people and caught some ammo on fire. Sergeant Major Plumley jumped out to put out the fire around the ammunition. I ran out into the LZ to put an air panel out. Sergeant Nye says, 2 of my people, PFC Jimmy D. Nakayama and Specialist 5 James Clark, were on the other side of me, several yards away. Somebody was hollering, and Colonel Moore was standing up there hollering about something about a wingman, and I looked up. There were 2 planes coming, and one of them had already dropped his napalm, and everything seemed to go in slow motion. Everything was on fire. Nakayama was all black, and Clark was burned and bleeding. And here's Joe Galloway. Before I had walked over and talked to the engineer guys in their little foxholes, now those same men were dancing in fire. Their hair burned off in an instant. Their clothes were incinerated. One was a mass of blisters, the other not quite so bad, but he had breathed fire into his lungs. When the flames died down, we all ran out into the burning grass. Somebody yelled at me to grab the feet of one of the charged soldiers. When I got him, the boots crumbled and the flesh came off, and I could feel bare bones of his ankles in the palms of my hands. We carried him to the aid station. I can still hear their screams. Spec 4 Thomas E. Berlisle, a medical man from Bravo Company 2nd Battalion, rushed out into the clearing with his kit bag to help the napalm victims. Berlisle was shot in the head and died within minutes in Lieutenant Rescorla's arms. An Oklahoma man, Berlisle had turned 23 years old just 4 days before he was killed. Back in the command post, our Air Force FAC, Charlie Hastings, was stunned by all the consequences of the misplaced airstrike. Hastings recalls, after the napalm strike, Colonel Moore looked at me and said something that I never forgot. Don't worry about that one, Charlie. Just keep them coming. Yeah. I mean, he knows what he's got to do. He's got Hastings that just killed some of his own men, wounded some of his own men by fire, and he's freaking out, probably doesn't want to call any more bombs on. And Hal Moore realizes that's what's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that one. Just keep them coming.